Talk Live.
Welcome to the Free Talk Cast, brought to you by our Patreon. You can find that at patreon.com/LRNFM. This week's supporter is Dustin Hilton, who is a gold level supporter. And again, all of this is over at patreon.com/LRNFM. So check us out there. It is different from our Free Talk Live Patreon. We explained that last week, and I don't really want to get into it too much because there's other changes worth talking about. And we alluded to those a bit last week. Well, we didn't really allude to them. At the very end of the podcast, somehow or another, we got to talking about the Free Talk Live website, which sucks. It's a supreme disappointment, and I've hated it since it existed, right? This thing has existed for a very long time, and it was accessible by going to new.freetalklive.com because we had paid this guy called Greg, who's been on the show, to create the new website for us. And he created a thing that belongs on a website, but he didn't create a website. A coworker said it best. It looks like a wish.com version of Twitch. Anyway, I'm joined by
Nikki.
Sorry, I just realized that I skipped over that.
That is all right.
So it looks like a wish.com version of Twitch. And it looks like what you would find if you went to freetalklive.com and you clicked a link that said, watch the show here, or something to that effect, instead of just being the actual website. Well, it turns out, as a result of that rant, a lot of balls got moving, and Bonnie, it turns out, hates the website too. So we have made a wonderful change. We are going back to the WordPress site that Ian made. So those are wonderful, positive changes, and I spent way more time discussing that just now than I intended to. I wanted to talk about not being a dick. Mm-hmm. Because I received 2 wonderful speakers this last week that I ordered from musiciansfriend.com, which is basically Guitar Center, but not Guitar Center. I don't understand and I don't care. But my old speakers, they work just fine, but they wouldn't get as loud as I wanted them to get. I mean, I live in the woods out here in New Hampshire. I can get louder now than I could previously. So I bought new speakers, and when I arrived, the box was damaged. Both the outer box and the internal box that these speakers themselves were actually shipped in. And I posted the picture online on social media saying, yeah, this is what you want to see with your brand new speakers. And someone was like, well, take them back. Don't accept that. That's damaged. But the speakers were fine.
Yeah.
Only the box that was shipped in and the box that held them was damaged. There was no damage whatsoever to the speakers. And it didn't matter. This person said you could still probably take them to the Guitar Center in Nashua and get them to swap them out. For what?
Just to waste your time?
Yeah, I'm going to drive an hour and a half to Nashua.
Yeah, right.
To swap out speakers that are perfectly fine because the box that I'm going to burn anyway is damaged. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
Plus, I understand where people are coming from, thinking that corporations can handle these hits, right? They can handle the hit of having to replace my speakers and not being able to sell these because now they're technically used. They can just absorb all that loss. And they kind of do, but employees get in trouble for these things. Today I received a refrigerator that I ordered from Home Depot last week, and they started to bring it in, and they stopped, and they took it back down the hill, and it came up, and it was like, yeah, we can't install this. It's damaged. And I was like, fuck, man, I needed this new fridge for a while. I was like, what do you mean damaged? And he said, well, come take a look. And I looked at it. There's just this little dent on the front door of it, on one of the front doors. I'm like, dude, I don't care about that.
But you know some people would flip out about that.
And that's what's surprising
and take pictures,
to me.
leave bad reviews, make this guy lose his job, so it's people, he's probably used to dealing with crazy Karens like that. So he's like, oh crap, I can't give her this.
I'm like, dude, bring it in. I do not care at all about that.
Does it still refrigerate?
Yeah. It still works just fine. And honestly, you kind of have to look to see it because it's so minor. Everything else works just fine on it, but it's got that little dent.
Gives it character.
Absolutely. So I posted about this online about how little I cared about that dent. Like, dude, on the scale of shit I care about, that doesn't even register. I don't give a fuck about that dent. Does the thing work? That's what matters to me. And I had a surprising amount of people saying, well, if you call Home Depot, you can probably get them to discount it. Well, first of all, it's already paid for. I don't know if these people have ever ordered anything through Home Depot, but it would
Yeah.
be a discount at this point. It would be money back. Like they don't bring you a fridge and then leave.
Yeah,
while
without you
still owe
paying
them
for
money.
it
Yeah.
first. Yeah.
So it wouldn't be a discount. It would be money back. And other people said, well, you could get them to swap it out. I would rather have a working fridge today with a dent on it than a flawless fridge 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
But even if I did all of this and I demanded a new fridge or I demanded money back, some employee somewhere for Home Depot is going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Now, the fridge was about $1,200, which isn't that bad for a new fridge. But if there's a 25% discount because it's damaged, let's just say that's $250 because I don't feel like doing any math. That's $250 that Home Depot loses. Whatever employee dented that fridge is going to get written up if they find out who did it. Everyone's going to get a stern talking to about not damaging customers' products, and someone may even get fired. I'm not in the kind of mood to get someone yelled at or written up or fired by a corporation because they accidentally put a dent in my fridge. And I can't relate to that bougie, spoiled mentality that causes people to take speakers back
For no reason.
Because the box they were shipped in was damaged.
And I think we've all gotten many things with a container or, the box being damaged, especially like ordering stuff online.
Yeah.
I always get stuff from Amazon and the box is damaged. Sometimes even the product inside is damaged. Okay, that's a different story. You might want to get your money back or get a new product, whatever. Yeah. But a lot of the times the outer box is damaged. Everything inside is fine. You just move on with your life.
Exactly.
There are a lot of steps that it takes to get things shipped from the warehouse to your front door. And sometimes things get slightly damaged. I'm not going to call, UPS and be like, we need to fire my delivery guy. No. I don't care that much. And also, my time is precious. I don't know about you, Arya, but I don't have time to call Home Depot and fight with them to get 25% off a fridge.
No, absolutely not. Plus, there's no chance of this happening anyway because they make it clear when you buy an appliance from Home Depot that, look, if there's anything whatsoever wrong with this appliance, do not sign for it. Send it back and we'll bring you a new one. Once you sign for it, it's yours. That dent is mine now. And there was no way, if I had contacted Home Depot and said, look, your delivery guys are here, but the fridge is dented, so I want some money off, they would have said, no, we're not going to do that. Just send it back and we'll send you a new fridge in 2 weeks or whatever. There was no scenario in which Home Depot was going to give me money off. They would have just given me a different fridge. On the other hand, there is, as you point out, a time and place to demand a refund or to demand satisfaction. And I encountered that recently as well. I bought a new bed several weeks ago and it's so fucking comfortable. I absolutely love that bed. Excuse me. But it's supposed to have a foundation, which is like a box spring, but it's a newer version of a box spring. And it got delayed in shipping and it wasn't going to be here until July the 5th, which was yesterday. So yesterday at between noon and 3 o'clock, it was supposed to arrive. I got a call at about 11:30 from the delivery company. These people called RXO, by the way, who told me, yeah, we're not going to be able to deliver it. We have to reschedule, and we only deliver on Mondays. So the next delivery that we have available that we can get you in is going to be July the 29th. Now, you can sleep on the mattress that I have without a box spring or foundation, but you can feel that it's not as evenly spread out. Your weight isn't as evenly spread out as it should be. It's fine and it's completely comfortable, but you can tell when you lay down that it would be more comfortable with something fully flat underneath you. And this pissed me off. I don't typically have an entire day off. Like even today, which is one of my days off, we're recording the podcast. I've been working on the website and some other projects. Yesterday, because I had to help a friend out anyway, I ended up taking the entire day off. Bonnie covered me on Free Talk Live, and it was a good day for me to accomplish things. And I have this company telling me that, yeah, that thing you ordered a month and a half ago, and that's already been delayed once, we're going to have to delay it an additional 2 weeks. So I called, and I was like, I need to talk to your supervisor. I hate to do this, but I need to talk to your supervisor because this solution that you're offering me to schedule a new date 2 weeks from now is not acceptable to me. And ultimately, the solution was that they had no solution. They're like, well, don't worry, we're going to expedite your order. we're going to make sure we're going to prioritize it and get it expedited. So
It sounds like a load of shit.
What time on July the 29th do you want to receive your foundation? And I said, look, I either have to get it today or you have to cancel the order. That's all there is to it. I'm not, that's my line in the sand. And they ultimately revealed to me that their truck broke down, which I can sympathize with, except you're a delivery company. Your job is to have working trucks. And this fly-by-night delivery company, the worst delivery company in the world, CERTA should not be using them. They should be using FedEx or UPS or the people who brought the mattress, whether it was USPS or what. It was rolled up in a box, and I was shocked that the entire mattress had fit in it.
Yeah,
but
isn't
it
that
did.
crazy?
It was wild. But, I was kind of a bitch to these people about that because that's not acceptable. Like, that's them failing to do the basic part of their job. If they had brought it to me and they're like, look, we accidentally ripped it here, fine, I don't care, whatever. But to not even bring me the product and to offer me to wait for 2 additional weeks for you to maybe bring it then, but this is, again, the second time that it got delayed.
Did the truck break down last time too?
I didn't ask what the reason was last time because I wasn't as pissed off about it. I was just like, yeah, that's fine, whatever.
Yeah.
I'll reschedule for 2 weeks from now. That's fine. But this time, not willing to do it. So I ended up canceling the order through CERTA because I couldn't cancel it through the delivery company, obviously. And I went online and I shopped around for a foundation by another company. And I made sure before purchasing it that they use FedEx for deliveries, not this RXO company. RXO is the worst. And
okay, so that's the delivery company.
Yes.
That's not where you got it from.
No, I bought it from CERTA.
I've never heard of that. RXO?
Yeah. CERTA told me they're the only company that delivers nationwide. And I didn't want to argue with the girl, but I'm like,
totally a lie.
bitch, I'm pretty sure USPS does that.
Yeah.
And FedEx does that. And DHL does that. And UPS does that. But whatever. I didn't want to argue with her.
Yeah.
I was just like, fine. I don't need anyone to bring it in. I just need them to bring it here to my address. I can handle the rest. Right. And I suspect what she meant was RXO themselves will bring it in and set it up for you, but I don't fucking need that.
Oh, maybe.
Just bring me the thing and I will take care of it.
I mean, I could see, since it's such a large object, that maybe FedEx or USPS, like, that might be too big for them. Maybe they might have a limit.
Possibly. I didn't really consider that.
I don't know.
Surely there's a way.
Yeah.
But anyway, big stuff happened this week. Wow, we are pretty much at the end of an episode, but let's keep going because we haven't even gotten into the exciting news of Donald Trump getting shot.
Yep.
And
Except he didn't really get shot. Shot near.
Well, the bullet pierced his skin.
But I guess it didn't. I guess there was glass behind him and the glass cut him.
Oh, really?
I mean,
okay. I didn't know that.
This is what I heard.
Okay. See, I had this argument with people at work. Someone else said, well, he didn't really get shot. I was like, well, a bullet
got grazed,
penetrated his flesh.
Yeah.
One way or another, his flesh was pierced.
Yeah. I mean, it's still pretty wild to get shot at.
Yeah, it is.
And you'd think, since every former president gets a full staff of Secret Service, and those are supposed to be like the best ex-military guys that keep all of these people safe, you think that they would notice a sniper on the roof.
Clearly, when there's a will, there's a way. They didn't notice the JFK assassination either, or at least not until it was.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago. They've upped their security since then. Allegedly.
Allegedly, this guy, this shooter, was outside of the Secret Service perimeter, which presumably would be one of the reasons that he missed Donald Trump. This 20-year-old Republican, I think he was. Maybe he was definitely a Republican. I think his age was 20. I'm not completely sure at this point. I don't really care about the guy. They're like, what was his motive? His motive was
he was MK Ultra.
He wanted to kill Donald Trump. I don't know what more motive you need.
Yeah. But the CIA brainwashed him.
Someone else pointed out rightly that killing Donald Trump, and I realize there's a lot of people on the left who would be very happy about that, it doesn't solve the problem, right? It only chops off one of the heads.
Yeah.
But there are 100 million people out there who support Donald Trump and like what Donald Trump stands for. Killing Donald Trump does not make those people go away. It does not silence them.
It
does
fuels
not help them.
their fire. You know what I mean? It's going to make those people, it has made those people very, very angry. And now they're, people, I don't know what it is about Donald Trump that really gets the Trumpsters amped up.
Yeah.
I mean, they love him. He is their Christ. I was just showing Arya this hilarious GIF or video, whatever, of the scene with Donald Trump and the Secret Service people, ushering him off stage when he was shot at. And, in the background, it's Jesus and a flying bald eagle, and it's very...
What the hell is going on?
Is it because of the rain?
I don't know. Our power keeps going... Weird stuff keeps happening, like the lights are dimming and the feedback in this...
That's what happens when you talk about Donald Trump on the podcast.
The feedback is increasing, so I'm sorry if any of that got through. It seems to have settled down now. It is storming here in New Hampshire, and New Hampshire is very well equipped to deal with snow. Mm-hmm. But not
wind.
Not thunderstorms and wind, I've noticed. Drivers, especially in New Hampshire, they can handle snow just fine. 15 feet of snow, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah. But rain, forget about it.
Yeah. People wreck constantly, and they drive 12 miles an hour. But anyway, back to Donald Trump now that the issue seems
so
to
that
be over.
video is pretty hilarious. And I do think that was a serious video.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it is so hilarious. These people worship him. There are... I think it was Bonnie that was telling me, those TV preachers?
Yeah.
Some of them, and, some of the mega church people, they're saying, you need to vote for Donald Trump. He is our savior, acting like he is Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure that's against the Bible. I don't actually know shit about the Bible because I don't care about Christianity, but that has to be against, that has to be blasphemy. That has to be against the Bible.
It is not only against biblical teachings and Christian teachings, it is a sign, in fact, of the beast.
Yes.
To be worshipped like Christ suggests that Donald Trump
But they're falling for
beast.
it. They're falling for it hard.
They are.
And it is hilarious. It's kind of scary, but it's hilarious.
Scary as hell right now because this is really going to galvanize Donald Trump and his supporters.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I never really bought into the whole Donald Trump is a Nazi nonsense that a lot of people did.
No, that's stupid too.
But, right, if there was ever a possibility for Donald Trump to become an autocratic tyrant.
Oh my God, yeah.
To get into power and seize office with an iron fist and say, I'm president for life now, we're dismantling Congress and blah, blah, blah. Now is the time that he could actually get away with it. Mm-hmm. Saying that the deep state tried to kill me, so we have to get rid of Congress.
Yeah.
Military, take out the congressional offices.
Yeah. And his supporters would back it. That's the scary part. They would seriously back it.
And I think we're closer now following this failed assassination attempt than we've ever been before. I still don't think it's likely because honestly, as awful as he is, I don't think Trump fits the traits. I don't think Trump wants to be the next Hitler or the next autocratic tyrant.
I mean, I don't know what he wants. Maybe not. I don't think he's a Nazi. You know what I mean?
Well, certainly not. But he does have a lot of problems. And when I say, I don't think he's a Nazi, obviously, but I don't think he's going to be an autocratic tyrant either. That would be the terminology I would use for these people who say they're scared he's going to be a Nazi or whatever.
Yeah.
Like he could seize power and disband Congress and disband the judicial system, probably if he wanted. But I just don't think Trump is the type to do that.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, because he does suck and he is evil. But he picked someone called J.D. Vance to be his VP candidate. And this dude sucks too. He's anti-trans. He's having an argument regarding trans people that fucking no one else is having. And it doesn't matter how many times you explain to conservatives that no one is having the conversation about cutting off kids' genitals. No one's discussing that. No one's considering it a possibility. No one's doing it. Hospitals, if you go to their websites, just try it. try to get your kid a sex change. I promise you, you won't be able to do it. Every hospital that performs sex changes says right there on their website that it does not perform surgeries like that on anyone under the age of 18. But these Republicans and these conservatives, they don't understand that. They hear gender affirmation therapy or transitioning, and they immediately, their obsession with children's genitals immediately drives them to the point of, they can't cut my son's wee-wee off, because that's all they care about. They don't seem to care about girls transitioning to boys. They only care about their little boys transitioning to girls. And for some reason, they just can't handle that. But no one's doing that. And the legislation they're passing targets all trans people. It's not banning gender affirmation surgery, sexual reassignment surgery. If it was, I wouldn't really care because fucking no one's doing that anyway. It's like banning people from wearing a hat with 50,000 needles sticking through the brim. It's stupid to pass the law, sure, but no one's doing it anyway, so the law doesn't affect anyone. I think when I looked into it before I went to prison, something like 37 children had had sexual reassignment surgery since 2016, which was a span of about 5 years. And every single one of those had some sort of medical emergency that necessitated
like they were hermaphrodite
surgery.
or something?
I don't think they included that.
Okay.
But there were other factors that made it an actual necessity to have the surgery. But for the vast majority of people, especially those under 18, gender affirmation consists of therapy and lifestyle changes, being called the right name, being called the right pronouns. That's what people mean, especially for a 12-year-old, for gender affirmation therapy. Now, it's true that they will put some children on hormone blockers or people under 18 under hormone blockers so that they don't go through puberty as their birth sex, but they're going to go through puberty. Like, there will be changes to their body from 12 to 18, whether those changes are a result of natural hormones or artificial hormones. You can't stop puberty. You can't stop time. They're going to go through puberty, and they can regret transitioning, and they can regret going through puberty as their birth sex.
Yeah.
They can regret not transitioning, and they can regret not going through puberty as their birth sex.
I mean,
there's a possibility of regret on both sides.
I think there are definitely some concerns with the hormone blockers and all of that, but that needs to be a discussion with parents and their children. You know, if these people are like, oh, my kids. Well, yeah, why aren't you being a parent to your children? Why aren't you having this conversation openly with your kid if it comes up?
That's an
You know what I mean?
point.
I just, and they're like, oh, well, the public schools and the liberal schools. Yeah, sure. Public schools suck. So don't send your kid there if it's a concern. I have 1,000,001 concerns about public school. Them making my kid gay or whatever, not really one of my main concerns, but because I have other concerns with public school, I'm not going to send my kid there.
Right.
So I don't get what this... People are up in arms about, like you pointed out, something that isn't actually an issue.
They're not. And you make a really, really good point. And I brought this up at PorkFest a few years ago when someone talked about schools keeping from their parents that the kids are transitioning. I'm like, hold on.
Why don't you know that about your child?
That is a
huge
question.
red flag.
And libertarians are ignoring that giant fucking question. Like here in New Hampshire, they tried to pass some sort of legislation that would force schools to tell parents that their child wanted to go by a different name or something crazy like that.
So you don't talk to your kid?
Right. That's exactly it.
You know what I mean? If your kid wants to be trans or is trans, you should know that. Even if they're hiding it from you at home because they think you're going to be judgmental or not accepting of them.
Well, that's its own issue.
Exactly. That's its own issue. But also, there should be so many other signs. I'm sorry, if you have... a kid that feels like they're, were born a boy, but feels like they're a girl. How would you not notice that? As a parent that lives with your child, how would you not notice that?
Yeah, it's impossible for them to not notice. And I can say this definitively as such a person, because from the time way before I was being corrupted in kindergarten or whatever, before I was in kindergarten, I was stealing my sister's clothes to wear them. Mm-hmm. And my parents knew about this. And now, obviously, this was way before being trans, and in Mississippi, never would have, I don't blame my parents for reacting how they did, but that's the situation that a trans parent is going to find themselves in. We keep finding girls' clothes in our son's bedroom. maybe we should have a talk about this. Now, my father did ultimately have a talk with me about this, air quotes around that, because it wasn't the kind of talk that you might like to imagine happen. It was more, look, fuck this. It's not happening. If it happens again, you're getting thrown out.
Yeah.
It was that kind of talk. Anyway, it's the kid's secret. And I don't think these libertarians understand that. If your child feels safer telling their teacher something than they do telling you, their parents, something, well, there's your fucking problem.
Yeah. Well, they think the teachers are brainwashing their kids.
But forcing the teacher to tell you isn't going to make anything better.
Yeah.
And if you think the teachers are brainwashing your kids, how fucking bad of a parent are you to keep sending your children there? Stop fucking doing it, especially here in New Hampshire where you don't have to do it, where you do have school choice. Stop sending your kids to public schools. But even if you don't think the teachers are corrupting, you're just upset because the child feels safer talking to their teacher than you, and the child is keeping this from you. You have to have the self-awareness as a parent to ask yourself, why does my child, the product of my loins and my flesh and blood, feel safer talking to this stranger than to me, their parent?
Because there are a lot of bad parents out there.
And that's where the problem lies. And I'm not saying you, libertarian, are a bad parent, but I'm saying if your child feels safer talking to their teacher than to you, you have to sit back and ask yourself why that is.
Yeah.
And they're not willing to do that. Instead, they're just, no, the teacher should have to tell me my child's secret. But your child doesn't want you to know their secret. So why not?
I have to ask you now, are you noticing this a lot in libertarian circles? Because when I think of what you're talking about, I think of more like conservative, Christian type people. I'm not seeing that as much in libertarian circles. I am seeing some people who call themselves sovereign or, freedom lover. They're kind of using libertarian words, but they're really conservatives. It's difficult to say because my main data source for this sort of thing is PorcFest, where I interact with. Oh, okay. So you were noticing that at PorcFest.
The scenario in which this happened was at the rant competition where someone had, and I'm one of the judges for that, and someone had ranted about kids, about schools keeping secrets from their parents or whatever, and I pointed out as one of the judges afterward, I was like, the problem here is that the child doesn't feel safe talking to the parent. Not that the school isn't telling you what the child is telling them. The problem is that the child isn't telling the parent. And you, as the parent, have to ask yourself why that is. One person clapped.
Wow.
Everyone else, you could just see the anger on their faces, or they were just completely neutral about it, because that was the way that seemingly all of those people felt is, no, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm a great parent. I'm a flawless parent. But like your kids see you tweeting this anti-trans nonsense on Twitter. They see you posting this shit on Facebook. They see what videos you're liking on TikTok and YouTube. They know you're listening to Ben Shapiro. Mm-hmm. So why would they feel safe talking to you about these issues when you are broadcasting to them plain as day that you think all this trans nonsense is just nonsense? And we had the guy who got up there 2 years ago who did a rant, and this is the reason that we now insist on screening all people who want to rant. And like, I made sure that there is a mute button so that we can just mute someone's microphone this year.
Oh, yeah, so they can,
Because this guy ranted for 10 minutes about his dead kid, and he wanted to use Yeah, he wanted to use his dead kid as sort of a shield against any criticism.
Mm-hmm.
And, like
it was really cringy. Yeah.
It's a fucked up thing to do, but a lot of people do it.
And a lot of people supported him doing that too. And they're like, come on, man, his kid died. Like, have a little bit more compassion. I totally have compassion for his situation. That is awful. I can't even imagine going through that as a parent.
I have no compassion for him.
But
fuck him.
Yeah, the way he handled himself was really.
I have no compassion for him because instead, I have compassion for the trans child of his who fucking killed themselves.
Oh, wait. I thought this was a vaccine injury thing.
That's what he said.
They committed suicide?
I don't know that they committed suicide, but there's no reason whatsoever to believe that his child took a vaccine. He said during the rant that his wife kicked him out And during that time, his daughter transitioned into being a boy. And he said he came back and he put a stop to all that nonsense and made her wear girls' clothes again. And then she got vaccinated, and then she died, and he revived her in the bathtub. And then she died in his arms again. And like,
What?
none of that
No,
made
that's fucking crazy.
any fucking sense.
See,
it
I
sounds to me
forgot
like this
about-
girl, like this boy slit his fucking wrist.
Yeah.
And I don't know that, but I do know that his child was trans. His child is now dead. And 40% of trans people do kill themselves, and
Yeah.
parents like that are, it's just society in general is a major part of that. And while doing this, he ranted about how his child was trying to transition, and he put a stop to that
And
nonsense.
then made it a vaccine thing.
Yeah. And for the most part, as a parent, possible parent of a trans child, you need to be aware of one thing. You have one basic choice. You can either be the parent of a trans kid or a dead kid. Because that suicide rate is 40%. And it's not because being trans makes them more likely to kill themselves. It's because of reactions from parents and just friends and family. It's not an easy thing to do. High school isn't easy in the first place. I had this conversation with people in prison who was like, yeah, but I can't imagine you transition in high school, be a girl and just make your life so much easier. Are you fucking hearing yourself right now? Do you not remember how much high school sucked and how much junior high sucked? Can you imagine being a 13-year-old boy in the 8th grade or whatever, and you're so convinced that you need to transition that you start coming to school in girls' clothes?
Yeah, that's like asking to be bullied.
And you think that's going to fucking make this kid's life
Yeah.
easier?
Yeah.
That's somehow easy mode for life? No, that's going to make this kid's life so much worse. So imagine how important it must be internally to this kid
Yeah.
for them to subject themselves to what they know will be bullying, not just from other kids. And honestly, today, the bullying from other kids is probably not going to happen based on things
Yeah.
I've seen, but from teachers, from the staff.
Well, also like depending on where you live. So I'm sure people in the South still aren't too cool with transgender people.
They're not.
So I'm sure a lot of teachers are going to be, that's against God. You can't do that. I'm
will.
sure they're not getting the reaction that all of these people are saying. They're saying, oh, the teachers are brainwashing the kids. I don't really know if that's happening.
I don't either, but it all comes back to the basic rule of just don't be a dick to other people. It doesn't hurt you for this person you consider to be a man to wear women's clothes. It doesn't hurt you to even call that person she, her,
Yeah.
or whatever name they prefer. It does you no harm. It takes no effort. It takes more effort to be a dick than it does to not be a dick. And that's true when you receive a damaged box, and it's true when you receive a damaged person. Just don't be a dick. Treat them with love and compassion. Exercise some forgiveness. Try to put yourself in their shoes. And maybe we can actually make the world a better place and achieve something positive instead of having so much hatred running around that someone actually is motivated to attempt to kill someone running for president. And then half of the United States is just sad that that person missed. Like, the hatred level is out of control.
Yep.
It's got to be simmered down. And the way to do that is to choose love over hate.
Absolutely.
And you have that choice every single day when interacting with anyone or when receiving a refrigerator from Home Depot or receiving something from Amazon. You always have the choice to act with love or to hate. Mm-hmm. So choose love. And thank you for listening. That's going to wrap it up for tonight, I guess, because we're about twice as long as some previous episodes. But I'm probably going to cut out a good chunk of that website conversation because it wasn't really relevant. I mean, the website has changed, and that's great. So thank you for listening. Subscribe over at freetalkcast.com if you don't mind. All of the issues there have since been fixed. There was an SSL issue that I had to fix, and there was an issue with the RSS feed I had to fix. So all of that's taken care of. Should be working just fine. freetalkcast.com. And check out our blog at freetalkblog.com, which I need to put something on again at some point, or I want to get other people affiliated with Free Talk Live to write on the site.
That's a good idea.
But so far, there have been no takers. So that's gotta happen. And more Libertarians on videos. It's the usual thing. I have too many projects and not enough time to do them all. But thank you for listening. It's been Free Talk Cast. Check us out, patreon.com/LRNFM. and share some love out there.